welcome to Convo Fango. Today we are joined by the directors of Deadstream, Joseph and Vanessa Winters, the Winters.
Hey, Angel.
Morning, guys. Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to get to chat with you guys because I saw this. I don't remember even what festival I saw this out of, but it was a long time ago, and I was very excited about this one. So I'm glad that it's doing so well on Shudder. And what is kind of like the response been like? Now it's on a Blu-ray, not just Blu-ray, but a Steelbook release.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been wild to see the different shape that this has taken over time. Originally, we didn't have any aspirations beyond just a streaming platform. So when we found out there was going to be a DVD, we were all ecstatic about it. And then eventually we got the news that that was not only a Blu-ray, but it would be a Steelbook. So we couldn't be happier with it. We're thrilled to be in this position right now.
That's awesome. You all did such a fantastic job of kind of, I'll say, capturing the sort of overall caricature of what we think of as a YouTuber or an influencer. And just, I'm guessing it's kind of an amalgamation of that culture in general, but I don't know if you'll answer this. Were you channeling anyone in specific? Did you have any specific YouTubers in mind when you guys created that character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there is we actually started riffing on this movie or the concept of it pretty early. So I think first it was PewDiePie, because he was kind of our gateway into the YouTube culture. And then it kind of branched out into more niche places. But there's a YouTuber called idubbbz that has a very particular kind of self-deprecating humor that we kind of pulled from. And then there's another crazy guy, Houston Jones, that actually we have to credit Joseph's dad for sending us one of his videos in the middle of the night. But he's just kind of this like super zany, over the top, like physical stunts.
He hurts himself on purpose. The video my dad sent, we got a text that says, "Man shoots himself in the nuts with paintball gun." And so we opened it up, and this dude was like really over the top, really high speed, like rapid fire delivery. And we thought, like, personality wise, this is very much Sean, we think. So we blended all those together. And then we tried to bring something to it that maybe people hadn't quite seen, so that he would feel not just like a parody, but kind of unique, like he could believably exist in our world. So that's where Sean.
We were also pulling from Joseph's strengths as a comedian.
I would say strengths. I would say that
definitely strengths.
We pulled from what we knew that I was likely capable of doing from having like put me in some of our films in the past.
Yeah, but he kind of has this thing where he's really into analog and has these little tapes and writes his own score. And I think there's a nerdiness there that's you channeling.
Okay, but here's the thing: I like to distance myself.
You're right. It's not
as much as I can, because we're not huge Sean fans in real life.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes it feel authentic and not just like a character of it. There's elements of that, and it's this amalgamation of everybody. But he feels like he could be a real guy, and I think it's because you probably brought elements of, pieces of you, not in an annoying way, but things like, you bring something to everything. Like,
yeah, I hope that came across to most people when they saw it.
Yeah, I mean, for a second I was like, is this like a YouTube guy that like made a movie and kind of thing? So I did question it when it first started.
Yeah, that's good. I actually think that's good.
I think that's probably the goal, right?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of like cool special features on the Blu-ray. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What can we expect there?
Yeah. Let me go first, and then you can say your thing. Going into it, I asked Twitter, which is always a great idea. Post on Twitter. What do you want to see in special features? Because we were about to put a bunch of time into them, and people. It was all over the place and what people wanted. A lot of people don't like the filmmaker leaning stuff. But what we ended up choosing was what we've learned from making a kind of a do-it-yourself, low-budget horror movie. We wanted to share that information with anybody else who's aspiring to do a similar kind of thing. So it's very filmmaker-oriented, I would say. And really deep dives into like everything that we went through to get it on the screen. And my personal favorite though is just it's a short 3-minute featurette about the haunted stuff that happened to the crew on the making of Deadstream, and kind of the lore of the actual house and what the community, how the community views that haunted house.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be a filmmaker to appreciate the craft of practical effects making. And our producer, Jared, put together a special feature that really dives into the creature designer, Troy Larson's process, and also the Michaela Kester, the makeup effects artist. And I think it's pretty fun, but I also really love monsters and monster making. But I think it turned out really great.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the work that Jared did on those.
Well, this is the audience for that, guys. I mean, the people watching this video and our readers are very into behind the scenes, the process of the filmmaking, and definitely effects, obviously. And you have some very cool creature designs in this. Like, was that setting out, was that something that was like high on the list? Like, okay, we cannot skimp on creature designs. Like, we have to bring it with the effects.
Oh, for sure.
That was for sure at the top of the list, but we also wrote it feeling like it's unrealistic what we're writing. We wrote a ton of creatures into it, and we'd have these conversations all the time, like, what are we going to cut when it actually comes down to it, because we can't pay the creature guy very much at all. And ultimately, and I think we talk about this in the bonus feature, Michaela and Troy came back to us after thinking about it for a while, and they said, we want to do all of it. We don't know how, but we'll find a way to do all of it. So they did. And I still don't know how, but we didn't have to cut anything from the script that was originally supposed to be there.
Yeah, those guys are mad geniuses, and they're super big horror nuts. And I just think people will love meeting them, and their work is so fun, has so much personality.
Amazing. So there's, I don't want to spoil the featurette, but there's actually spooky stuff that happened on set.
Yeah, and we can we could spoil it.
Okay, spoil it. Let's go.
There was Vanessa has a funny one, but my experience, I was a little bit annoyed because we were trying so hard to make this movie, and it has its own stress that comes with it. And there were a couple of rooms that we call the hot spots of the house where some crew members started refusing to go into them because of the energy that was in them, and things that, like, weird things that were happening on set. And so after we wrapped, we asked everyone to send voice memos of their experience in the house. And there was a crew member that heard a woman's voice singing. And we also found a clip. We were looking through the footage when we were editing, and there is a clip. It was during a take where you hear a woman's voice really faintly in the background, but it wasn't happening on set. So it's like a lot of weird stuff like that was going on.
Yeah, we played it back so many times. We're like, is that my voice?
Oh my God.
No, it's not by Video Village. You can hear the Video Village people, but this sounds like it was somewhere else. And anyway, we spent a long time trying to figure out who that could have been.
Yeah, tell a story about a construction worker.
Dude, the story that actually makes me laugh the most is that we had a problem with, because the house is so famous in its community, we had a lot of break-ins during the night. And so we had to put up a security system, and just to keep like teenager thrill seekers out of the house. And so one night there was a break-in, and a cop showed up, and then he called our producer. So our producer showed up, but he was like 20 minutes behind the cop. And when he got there, the cop was just still in his car. He hadn't gone into the house. And so our producer got out and was like, what's going on? And he's like, honestly, I grew up in this town as a kid. I've been in the house. It's haunted, and I was too scared to go in.
What? No way.
And it's just it's so funny to me, because yeah, ghosts are scary. It doesn't matter if you've got a gun.
That's the thing. I'm like, I respect you from afar. I don't ever need proof. I don't want any kind of proof. I will stay here and stay there. Yeah. So you guys picked an actual haunted location then. Like, this is like Sean would have actually gone to this place to investigate for his YouTube thing. This is like a famous local lore kind of house.
Yeah, if there was a house in Utah he would have gone to, it would have been this. This is that hotspot house that, I mean, there's like a woman can be seen by different people. They've reported that there's a woman in a certain bedroom, like looking out the window. We knew a guy personally who said he had that experience when he was a teen. So yeah, this would have been that house.
Did you want a haunted location? You're like, let's be authentic with this and go find a haunted house.
We were just like, a location, please.
Okay.
When Vanessa and I were first looking at the house, it was in really bad shape, and it wasn't particularly spooky because of how bad a shape it was in. And we were in the upper floor, and we were just by ourselves. And I looked up, and there was a cat in the rafters just looking at us, and I screamed. And it was like from that cat experience, I realized like how much I would prefer it wasn't a haunted house, because it's very scary being in that space.
It sounds cool in theory. Yeah. I hate everything about that. Love that for you. Hate that for myself.
It's fun now. Now that it's over and it worked out, yeah, it's fun.
Assuming you didn't bring anything home with you or something, yeah, it's fine.
Jared did. Our theory is that Jared, the producer, who had to go out there in the middle of the night for the break-ins all the time, we feel like he brought whoever she is home with him, because it kept haunting his project. Like when he was the post supervisor, his computer kept glitching, and he said when he would see images of the house, he would taste the house and smell the house. So he's got it. It's stuck to him.
Yeah, he's got it.
Well, he was going around licking lead paint off of the walls, I guess. So maybe
that could be it. I'm going to stick with ghost, though.
Okay. I taste
ghost
the
or
house.
the lead.
Okay. It's ghost or lead. It's a real toss-up. So obviously, I'm guessing you guys are fans of found footage. What are like some either favorites, or even if it's not a favorite, just something that like it made a difference, it's iconic, it stuck with you, whether good or bad, but just something that sticks out?
I'm obsessed with Rec.
Okay.
I watched it a lot leading up to Deadstream, and hope to make a movie that good someday.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Lake Mungo, we really love. It's tonally, I don't know if there's another found footage movie that's tonally better than that.
Yeah, it leans into a mood and just stays there. So good.
Yeah, I think those are probably our two favorite.
Solid choices. How about horror comedies? I'm guessing you're also fans of those.
Yeah, definitely. So the obvious references when you watch Deadstream is Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. You can see a lot of that in there. But I also grew up really loving House and House 2. My dad and I watched those a lot. And I would say it probably shaped like the DNA of the film the most, probably those 4 films.
Nice.
Yeah, I also love Drag Me to Hell. I mean, it's another Raimi, but I love it.
That one is so like effectively scary, and then he does some Raimi shit like that. Like the dance in the air. Like I'll just randomly play that scene in my head out of nowhere, just every so often. It just like pops into my head, and I'm like, what the fuck? So good.
Yeah, I think that Drag Me to Hell is a rare perfect movie.
I mean, yeah, he just goes there in that movie while also just keeping you in the terrified mood.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so gross and so terrifying, but also just when it goes hilarious, you're like, what the fuck? And it's really funny, but also so like, what is happening here?
You're like, wait, did she just pull out a stapler? Like, okay, I'm in.
Staplers and jigs, and sign me up for all of it. Yeah. The viewer names and comments, there's so many there, and there's such great stuff that I've seen, but I also know I'd probably have to watch this 1,000 more times to catch all of that. Did you have a favorite? Did you sneak any kind of like Easter eggs in there specifically?
As far as Easter eggs go, so Jared, who wrote over 1,000 of the ones that just scroll quickly, Vanessa and I had written into the script most of the upvoted ones, the ones that you're intended to read and that Sean interacts with. But Jared filled out a spreadsheet and he wrote over 1,000 of the filler ones, and he got carried away with, there's like a love story, there's a Romeo and Juliet love story. 2 people meet, and by the end of the movie, they're engaged. But the Easter eggs that are horror related that are my favorite is in the very final image of the film, when Sean does his send off, there is just a whole bunch. They're scrolling really fast. That's where you're going to find like a Mick Garris shout out and some Monster Squad love and like other things like that. So that's the one you'd want to watch multiple times to catch all those.
Okay, I'm gonna do a rewatch, but I'm just gonna look at the comments section the whole time. Now that I've seen the movie a few times, I can just stare at the comments. Oh, thank you guys so much. This is awesome. I'm so excited that this is not just on Blu-ray, but a steelbook. I think that is so fucking cool. I was like, the nerd in me is like double excited for you guys for that. So I hope that you're double excited as well.
Yeah.
We're so excited.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Of course, I'm glad it worked out. We were like kind of like, this has been a wild week, and I was like, I need to make this happen because I'm such a fan of this movie and I want to show you guys some love.
Yeah,
Chainsaw
thanks for
nominated
pushing to make that
Deadstream.
happen.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that was really cool.
All right, Deadstream now available on Blu-ray and Steelbook exclusively at Walmart. Yay.